For this guided instruction video, make sure that you are turned to the video guide and have a pencil ready to make notes on it as I do. Let's take a look at how to use area models or arrays to solve division problems. Here's an example. It has the materials, and you can use arrays to model division and find equal groups. So first thing you're going to do is count up how many you need. So count out 30 tiles. So you're going to get some color tiles, and you're going to count out however many the total is, which is 30 for this example. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. You won't need any more than this. So 30 is the most I'll need, so I'm going to put the rest of my color tiles to the side and not worry about them for this problem. Alright, it says to make an array to find how many rows of 5 are in 30. So we're looking at rows of 5. So we're going to make a row of 5 tiles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, there's one row of 5. Continue to make as many rows of 5 tiles as you can. So you're going to continue this until I run out of tiles. So another row of 5 right there. Another row of 5. Another row of 5. Another row of 5. And let me scoot this up a little bit. The last row of 5. And now I'm out of color tiles. So I've used all of them. Make sure that you do have equal groups, that each row has the same amount. In this case, there should be 5. Okay, so the last question says, how many rows of 5 did you make? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We made 6 rows of 5, so you need to write a 6 in that blank. Alright, now to draw conclusions, we need to think about the work that we just did. It wants us to explain how you use the tiles to find the number of rows of 5 in 30. So I made rows of 5 until I ran out of color tiles, or used all 30. Okay, so maybe say I ran out of the 30 color tiles, but this says the same thing. So we did rows of 5 until we didn't have any more to make a row, and then we knew we were done. What multiplication equation could you write for the array and explain? Alright, well, let's see here. How many rows do we have? 6. So 6 times. How many we have in each row? 5. And that equals, well, let me do a count by. I can do a count by of 5. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's going to equal 30. Alright, so explain. I need to explain what each of these numbers means. There are 6 rows of 5 in each row to make 30 total. You should be writing this down also. If you need to pause the video to copy down my work onto your paper, you may do so. Alright, the last part is number 3. Tell how to use an array to find how many rows of 6 are in 30. Okay, well that kind of switches it around. If I did rows of 6, so let's do a row of 6, a row of 6, a row of 6. All I'm doing is just adding one more to my 5. Do you see that? So I have 6 here, I have 6 here, I have 6 here, I have 6 here, and I have 6 here. They're equal groups. I'm out of tiles. I don't have any left over, which is good. Okay, so how did I do that? Well, similar to what I did up here for number 1, just this time I did 6 each. So I'm going to write, let's scoot this over, I made rows of 6 until I used all 30 tiles, which is basically what we set up here. I just kind of reworded it to make it simpler, but it gives all the same details. I made rows of 6 until I used all 30 tiles. So that's how you can use color tiles to help you make arrays to solve division problems. Okay, make sure you have all that copied down, and once you do, you're going to turn to the next page. Up here is another example, similar to what we just did. They used all these tiles to find out how many rows of 6 tiles would make with 24 tiles total. So here's the mess of 24 tiles that they did, which is like this. I have 24 here. And then they organized it into 1 row of 6, 2 rows of 6, 3 rows of 6, 4 rows of 6, and they didn't have any left over. Okay, so they said you can make 4 rows of 6, so there are 4 rows of 6 tiles and 24. This is exactly what I just did on this page. So this is a little bit of a reminder on how to solve that. Okay, let's look at these two examples together. Use square tiles to make an array. Solve. These are your square tiles. So for number 1, how many rows of 7 are in 28? So how many total color tiles am I going to need? 28. So I'm going to count out 28 color tiles. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Okay, so I have 28 total here. I'm going to use all of these to make an array. All right, and again, I'm looking back at what I've underlined, rows of 7. Okay, so 5, 6, 7. There's 1 row of 7. And I'm going to keep doing that. The nice thing about these color tiles is they're all the same size, so I can kind of match it up from the beginning to the end to see that they are equal sizes. Because remember, they must be equal groups or equal rows, same thing. And 7 on the bottom. Okay, so the question is asking, how many rows of 7? Well, I made rows of 7, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 rows. I'm going to write a 4 in this blank. Okay, so you would do the same thing over here. Make sure you label it with rows. Let's look at a different one. This has 18 tiles in 3 rows. So we need 18. Let's see, I know I have 28 now, so I'm going to take away how many to make 18? 10. So here's 5, 10. Okay, now I have 18 here. I'm going to kind of mess it up. In 3 rows. Well, this one's different. Instead of saying rows of 7, they're saying there's going to be 3 rows. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my starters. This represents the beginning of each of my rows. I'm going to add 1 more color tile to each row until I run out. So you see how I'm building the rows differently this time? I know I have 3 rows, but now I have to see how many can fit in each row. Alright, I am all out of color tiles, don't have any extras, and these are all equal groups. I can see that they're all lined up here. So the question is asking, really, if we have 18 here, divided by the 3 rows that we made, how many are in each row? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 here and 6 here. So the answer is 18 divided by 3 equals 6. All right, when you solve 4, 5, and 6, you need to do a division sentence and use color tiles to help you. You can also do a picture. You can draw pictures eventually in your packet. You'll see that you can, and it's just the same idea, just drawing it. Good luck.